How's it going, people? Welcome to this week's edition of the Locker Room right here on Top 6 Fan TV. I've got Andrew, the man from Liverpool, from Anfield, joining us, and we do have a man from the blue side of London, Frobisher, representing Chelsea. Man U and City people are basically AWOL today, and I will be carrying the Arsenal flag, albeit painfully. And we have a lot to get into, which we will do right after this.
Bukayo Saka! Anthony! Salah! Huge support from Aubameyang! Bang! There goes Haaland. He's on.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us. If you are joining for the first time, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to hit the like button. Join or participate in the conversation with your comments. And I would like to officially welcome Andrew to the show. Andrew, you're most welcome.
Thank you. A pleasure to be
Fantastic. Doubles as a mic check. 1 2 1 2. Frobisher, the man from Chelsea, you're most welcome.
Is this Andrew's first time on that show?
No, Andrew has been around and he's warming up for you. You start poking him. You've forgotten the results from the weekend. And that is the result we will get into right away. Without much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, without much further ado, the big result, the big game of the weekend came on Sunday with Liverpool welcoming Chelsea to Anfield. The final result 2-1. And Frobisher, since you're itching to go, I'll give you the mic first. What was your assessment, sir, of your performance, the performance of your Blues, or the match in general?
Thank you very much. Welcome, guys. Chelsea, for yesterday's, was it yesterday? Yesterday's match.
Is it a memory loss, man? It's okay. Happened after
I was really looking forward to that game, and because I was happy about the suspension, especially for Wesley Fofana. I really thought that was going to force the change in the defense that I wanted. I wanted to see how that toxin man plays in defense. So the suspension for Fofana, okay, the suspension to Chuchurela, maybe that one was a bit failed in that game. However, on the whole, I like the way the team lined up. I am slowly but forcefully getting used to the way that they want Chelsea to play now. I've never been a fan of this system that seems like the Chelsea hierarchy has now adopted, and it has been pushing for it for some years now. And I know that me, I'm a fan of a back three and a front three kind of setup. Any formation that favors either of those ones, me, is what works for me. But now this whole thing of a back four with one lone striker, Boaz the heaven out of me, but we have nothing to do but to get used to it. I think they have shoved around that system until I don't know even whether they have gotten the players that can play it now. But I saw with the ZH, with who they have tried to buy those players to try and make that system work. And and slowly by slowly this season we're beginning to see it a bit come together. I wanted to see how we play without Enzo Fernandez. That one I also got a feel of it in yesterday's game, and I really liked how we were solid in midfield, and
my man, Frobisher. Let me first. You're now talking like the Chelsea mascot, which I've never even seen. Is it a lion or something? You're bigging up the team. I want to hear from you. Allow me to challenge you and say where was it lost for Chelsea? Because the reality is that there was a loss for Chelsea. Where do you feel, despite these positive things you see, where do you think Liverpool was superior? Or rather, where do you think Chelsea were inferior?
I think it was just the mentality. Despite all the Chelsea's hard work on that day, which I believe was there, you still got the feel like Liverpool is the superior team, and that really played against us. But generally, on the whole, on the pitch, I think the boys represented well. Of course, our defense was low, but of course, you could also put it on the fact that there were like 3 changes in that defense that were not ones that we had been used to. Having Rhys James play yesterday, I think if you're in the group, I commented about it. His pace was tested yesterday, and he couldn't fly. You could see, so he was more of a defender. Yet his strength is more of contributing to the attack. But because he was coming back, he was reserved to. Yes, he did not contribute a lot going forward. He was more of defensive. And then in defense, he was also being outrun by the Liverpool wide men. Of course, Toxin had a bad day. I don't know what happened for him to have such a bad day. But on the whole, even despite those weaknesses, I didn't see really Liverpool outmuscle us. We had most of the possession for all of the game. I was very disappointed that we conceded the second goal so soon after we had equalized. I felt like Enzo, the coach's plan to make those 3 subs was a good idea, but sadly it came after the second goal had been conceded. But on the whole, our major problem was the strategy was to work with Gusto's wing, but Gusto was playing on the left, and yet he's right-footed. So we always had a challenge. We got to the Liverpool box that side, but we never got any direct fruit out of it because he couldn't cross, and then he couldn't shoot. So there was a lot of chaos there. It made him even look bad. But the runs down that wing were very good, and also so that was, I think that was where the problem was. The game plan was this Gusto's wing, and Gusto's wing couldn't work because he was a right-footed person on the left-hand side.
But now
that didn't help us on attack.
You put Chelsea's failings down to Gusto at left back.
It was it was the manager. It was the manager's strategy that was.
So the tactics were wrong. Let's be straight here. The tactics were wrong. The tactics failed Chelsea yesterday. Period.
They failed to work. The tactics were not wrong. They just failed to work.
They failed to work. Very good. You've gone around the corners. If you want to talk to us directly. Don't this
but it was a good performance. I was proud of my team. It reminded me of the Man City game. We played equally reserved. Though I'm beginning to think that we should maybe play without Lavia, because I think the 2 games they have played on, it gives the team a sort of a feeling of solidity, but we end up not winning the game, as happened in the Man City game. But on the whole, I like his presence. He played well.
That means you're not solid. If he's giving you solidity, but you're losing. Let me bring in Andrew here. Andrew,
but there were set pieces. They were not They were not brilliant. It's like they did not outplay us in any way. They were just
No. I think you've had your
chance.
Bring the possession statistics.
You bring the possession statistics and we show you the truth.
Wama Andrew. Greetings, sir. Please give us your assessment of that match. You've had this Chelsea guy sugarcoating. Your mother want to say the team.
I'm just before I start, I'm just surprised Frobisher didn't even mention Sancho. The same way he disappeared in the game is the same way he has decided to keep silent about him and instead pick on Malo Gusto on that wing, and not knowing Sancho had to help him.
Eh.
But it was I think it was a good game of football. I think one thing that we might all agree is that yesterday Liverpool was not at its very best. If you watch the first 15-20 minutes, we were laid back, and I think for me this is Ancelotti being very tactful, because we've always had challenges with games after the international break. You know, when you go all in, you're going to be hurt by a team that has had a few players stay behind. But of course, after seeing that Chelsea lineup that had Lavia, I was surprised Rhys James was given an opportunity to start. I thought maybe he still had some more games before he could start a few games. Then also, I remember when Cucurella was sent off in the last game, I said, you know what, this could be helpful, because he might not be the best left back, but at least there's some value that he adds in their team. So I would not say it was one of our best games, but I think Ancelotti is building a team that knows when to get the result. I think yesterday we controlled the tempo of the game on our side. We were we sat back. If you looked at the first half, allowed Chelsea to come in, but then again we were able to, we got the chance to be clinical whenever we needed to be clinical. So as usual, Mo Salah being one of the key differences, and I think yesterday for me, Curtis Jones, man of the match performance. He's been one of those players that has been criticized, but for me, when it comes to ball retention, and that's why I thought that that midfield with Gravenberch, that holding midfield, I think is a perfect number for him. I think he put up a very fantastic performance. Keeping in mind that that was also our first, people have been saying we've only played teams in the bottom half, in the bottom half of the league. I think yesterday was a good test.
Yeah, teams in the bottom half, like Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, like Nottingham Forest, but it was a good test. It was a good test, but I'm glad that and Ancelotti knows that our next 10 games are, both Champions League and Premier League are going to be hard games. You don't want to go full throttle like the way Jurgen Klopp used to play, leave people, panting in the 90th minute. I think he has tried to balance the playtime of this player since the beginning of the season, and I think that's exactly what he did yesterday. So I was extremely pleased with the performance. I think it's very important to know when to get the result. And I think yesterday was one of those days, and I think each player played their role. So yeah, it was a fantastic performance that we can build on going forward.
All right, fantastic. We can hear some positivity there. I'm putting some comments here from the virtual audience. They've started coming in. Jonah, Mr. Liverpool, saying, "Can Frobisher say some words about Trent defending?" Mr. Frobisher, please, can you say something?
Who was Trent marking? Please, may I be reminded? I remember Cole Palmer was first dribbled some guy, left him for dead there on that wing. I don't know that people. Did you get a recording of that come move? My goodness. Guy cut a fellow. It was bloody.
He marked, but
unfortunately,
the marked was substituted in the after first half.
Sancho, I know everyone is billing Sancho. Those bad off days are bound to happen. That's why Chelsea is ably resourced. At halftime, you could have demanded some, but I feel like he was but I feel he was a victim of the strategy. To use his wing with Gusto there was a bad idea. But Trent yesterday was absent in attack. We couldn't see anything. He was just scared of a little Nicholas Jackson. And Madueke down this side, he couldn't do anything. So really, anyway, we comment Trent. We improved his defending. That one I must say, we improved his defending. But on the whole, Liverpool was backtracking. On Liverpool side, although I will comment, I thought the Curtis Jones starting ahead of McAllister thing was a gamble, but
No,
one that
but it paid off. It paid, but you understand it
paid
coming
off.
off the international break.
No.
I mean, these
It
guys
wasn't
have
a
just
gamble.
flown in from.
McAllister
It was
Yeah,
was
tactical.
injured
It was
during the
tactical.
international break,
no,
Yes.
and he didn't even
It was
play. He
it was
didn't
a
even play
gamble.
this.
Because
The
benching
man
they
was
bench
injured.
who Diaz and McAllister. No, he came on. He came on. So that means he wasn't.
And
So
Jonah
that
is
means that
reminding you here. Jonah is reminding you from. You can see his comment here. Trent. He marked Sancho and Neto.
oh
The person Palmer
no
cut was Robertson, and the move led to nothing. Yeah, they even reminded you the move led to nothing. And he's here just
no he
by
was.
saying McAllister
I,
wasn't fully fit,
I am
but Curtis showed up. So tactical
I am
masterstroke
I am
by Arne Slot.
So it wasn't a gamble.
I
It
am
wasn't a
excited.
gamble.
I am excited. He remembered the cat. But anyway, but on the whole, yeah. When you watch that game, it's also reminiscent of the Man City versus Chelsea game. You could see that the Chelsea boys were up for the challenge, but the big team feel hasn't yet like caught on in that team. It needs a run of like 5 to 6 wins for that thing to properly sink in. But we played level-headed with Liverpool yesterday, but you could see that feel that Liverpool had this thing of we are the bigger team in this encounter, and at the end of the day,
There's something I want to ask Frobisher. One of the Chelsea fans said that your team, a friend of mine, that your team is not fully fit, and it's still lacking. Do you share the same
Fully
sentiment?
fit.
Yeah, he said Chelsea players are not fit. Do you share the
not
same?
at all.
The problem is there's no space at the training ground. You know all these guys. Where can the guys train from? They're always playing Sumusa.
Yeah.
Triangles only. Triangles.
I think our squad structure is very good because we do not have to ask for closed door friendlies to check on our players. We can put 2 teams out on the training pitch, and we have full solid teams. There's nothing like some of your teams have to go and ask for friendlies with the Wigan or some cutting from to try and see whether you can test fitness of players. Our team is solid. I think the small issue number. I'm happy with the way our coach is handling it. Of course, I'm not a fan of the coach, but what to do? I am only a fan. I'm handling because he is giving the players the minutes. He's rotating. I am happy, and I pray that he maintains that team, that thing, a cup team separate, and the league team separate, so that all those boys are giving us what they can. So the team is okay, and there's nothing like issues to do with fitness. I think the only unfit player that I know in Chelsea right now may be Disasi, but the rest, when they come on, you can really see that their errors are genuine. They are still trying to adjust to whatever playing system there is, and but on the whole, they are giving it their all. And then also, of course, there's that issue of there's that dynamic in the midfield. Who should play with Caicedo? Once that matter is settled, I think the team will be covered. Everything else has been settled apart from who plays with Caicedo. Do we have Enzo there? Do we have Garcia there? So that is the big deal. Once they fix that, the team is good to go. Plus, we need a run of good results. Win. That the mentality can build.
Let's wait and see what happens. But we really have to be moving on from Arne Slot and Enzo Maresca, who you see there. Arne Slot getting the bragging rights there. Great result for Liverpool. I have to say,
all those guys bald-headed like Pep. Is it a fashion for the Premier? You guys, I don't know why you get a you need to get a bald-headed man. Otherwise, you guys are going to finish out of top 4.
No, man, we have Don Robbie of Arsenal Fan TV, man. He's going to sort us out.
You can see how quickly the Spurs coach is losing his hair. Hmm?
No. These are well, and Slot is not really a disciple of Pep. So I think it's just their time. It's just their time. It's just their time. But moving
Time for guys with no
to
hair on the
they're also very wise people. Those bald-headed guys who you're talking about, very
head.
serious chaps.
Uh,
Moving on to the other
Only
game. Indeed. Moving on to the other game here, we had, I'm sure Manchester United fans will be excited about the result from this weekend. Finally, the memes of the wrestlers can stop, the tag team memes before every weekend game for Man United. They pulled out a very impressive win there at Old Trafford. 2-1 the final score versus Brentford. Goals coming in from Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund, the fantastic chip right there to cancel out Pinnock's goal there for Brentford, which was the opener. Great result for Man United. Andrew, your take, were they looking impressive?
So I unfortunately I did not get an opportunity to watch the entire 90 minutes, but from the highlights and that I've been able to watch, I think this was a much needed result for Ten Hag, seeing that there's been a lot of pressure on him to deliver results. When you look at the number of shots they had, 23 with 11 on target, I think it was only right that they were able to make that comeback. Conceding in the last minute of first half, when you've been trailing is not one of the best things that you want to experience. But the fact that they were able to come back within a few minutes within the start of second half, Garnacho, scoring it, and then later on Højlund, I think it was a much needed result. But I think it's still not convincing in the style of play and the pattern of football that Manchester United is trying to bring on. I'm sure it was one of those wins where I'm sure some fans were left, still unhappy with how the team
with the result.
I
think Man United played positive football. Actually, I watched some clips of it.
Yeah, so I think it was a good result for them generally.
Indeed. Probisha, what does it mean for United? Ten Hag does it look like from this result, and it was really impressive. I mean, they came back from behind. This time they didn't crumble under pressure, and you could see that they're actually putting some neat football together. I don't know whether you managed to catch parts of the game, but does it look like Ten Hag is out of the woods for you with United?
I wish it's our prayer that he remains out of the wood. But one thing that I know is, of course, it has to go on record that Man United has been unbeaten since the threat of sacking him became so vocal. So, so it may also be that side of, let's say, first secure that job security, and then what? And then go back to the normal results. I've been watching a few of the Man
job security, and then we go back to normal results. Losses, i.e. losses.
Don't put words in my mouth. I still want to be safe on the group. Anyway,
I wish Lord Boom was here to hear you.
But anyway, I was confused about how the striking lineup. Højlund and Zakse, who should be starting, and then also the small matter in the defense. Because yesterday they played Evans, right?
Evans and Delish in the center.
And who was fit? He was fit. Lindelof was fit. Martinez was fit. So it looks like there's still a problem in central defense for the team. Generally,
Martinez actually was injured.
apart from he played, but I don't think he was a central defender. Uh, um, um, so the issue is the team setup is not yet clear. So it's very hard for us to know
Yes, yes.
how it
Location.
how Manu looks like. And I think even Manu fans can agree to this that we are still struggling to pick the picture. The games that I'd watched earlier on, which had a little bit of consistency in lineup, were showing a team that is solid, but no results at the end. I couldn't say anything negative about the team apart from Ahmad Diallo. I don't know why guys were praising him, but he still looks junior, you know. But people are praising him that he's their best player. They gave him a run
Not
of games,
us.
but you can see that
I think Garnacho really.
Yes, Manu's return to winning ways coincided with Garnacho's return to the starting 11. So I didn't really understand that whole strike with later Ahmad be the one starting or something. Um, I like how the coach has kept trust in what in Rashford. I pray it pays off at some time. It's just not working, but I pray but
He
and
had a good
Rashford is
game
giving it his
actually.
all. Yeah, he's giving
You
it
can
his
see his
all.
playing.
Friend, unlike Sterling, but anyway, we shall get to that. But
Let's swiftly move on, by the way. Let's swiftly move on because you have
but
started
generally,
poking and wrapping up
Man
your
U
Bible.
going forward, good. Yes, Man U going forward looks good if they can keep that going. The issue I think that they're still struggling with sorting out is the defense and 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 that midfield. The defense of that midfield because now yesterday they used the edging midfield, Casemiro and Ericsson, even though now they got by, you know. But now they are understudies. Will they manage? Bugatti has looked not a very average, and
Got
so
it
so
this
that's
time.
where I think that's where the work. Yeah, that's where the work
And
still needs to be done. Otherwise,
the guy came from France in Liga. They put him in the pitch. His first game, it's like they had got the guy from Samata Road and put him on the expressway.
but
Still,
EPL does that.
yeah, just
EPL
think,
does
guys
that.
going past him was like, hey, what's happening here? So I think Nag has noticed and decided to pull him out. And you notice the same about Zaxi.
And that's good coaching, right? I hope guys are appreciating that. That's good coaching. You have to
Well,
protect your player.
the players. Well, moving on to the other result here, Manchester City pulling off yet another dead. I mean,
My
these guys have
goodness.
become the new kings of faggy time. Can you imagine? The noisy neighbors. The guys, same thing they did to Arsenal in the last minute, nicking a draw. The same thing they did to Wolves. They went 1-0 down to an early goal there from Latham for Wolves. Josko Gvardiol with the equalizer on 33 minutes before John Stones with, I don't know, that must have been like the 20th corner of the game for Man City, putting it in at the death, temporary stop there, with VAR, with remonstrations coming in from the Wolves coach around obstruction. Bernardo Silva was in the way, but Gary O'Neill was not successful with that. Was checked and awarded. Man City came out yet again. These guys just know how to win, Andrew. I don't know. We just need to wait for those 115 charges. At least one of those charges needs to check in with like a minus 5
They've
points.
already
Because
won
at
one
this
in
rate,
court. I'm not sure we stand any chance.
man, the guys also
They've
have
already won.
yeah, they have they have like a whole football team of lawyers, but your take on City. I mean, I was particularly impressed. I mean, Josko Gvardiol is something else. I mean, the World Cup he was. I mean, he came to fame for his dogged defending while he was at RB Leipzig, and then in the World Cup with that fantastic run by Croatia. He was really solid. But I mean, this side of him that Guardiola has unleashed, his goal threat is actually right up there with the likes of some of the most prominent midfielders. But what was your take on the game, Andrew?
Absolutely. I think we are seeing the old-fashioned Manchester City, the Pep City. Patience in build-up.
Mm.
No panicking when they're one goal down, but also um, the players that make the difference aside the usual players we know, aside Haaland, aside De Bruyne. Yusko Gabriel, that wasn't his first strike. From that angle, I think he has had some brilliant, right-footed goals. Actually, I
Mm.
think one of the statistics that was mentioned is that I think he has scored his last 5 goals. I think have been 4 right-footed, goals and 1 header. But this is a naturally left-footed player.
Mm.
Fantastic strike. The awareness that he has the space to go for it. Again, like I said, this is the Manchester City that is very patient in the build-up. And I was really, I said yesterday that, hate watching is not supposed to end like this. And they kept knocking on the door, and you felt like, Wolves was going to crumble and give up. So can't take
Mm.
away that bullet header from John Stones. That was a fantastic header.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I saw there was a bit of contention with whether Bernardo Silva blocked Josesa, but I think it was a clear cut goal, and it was a fantastic strike. No excuses. That was a very good
Indeed.
header. So it's really the old fashioned Pep, but you have to give it. Josesa, that was his first time that he was starting after Sam Johnstone came into Wolves as the starter. So for him to put up such a performance, it could have been 7-0 or 7-1,
Mm.
but I think he put up a good performance. But I mean, this is typical Pep. But it also gives me hope that this Pep team can actually, it can actually be broken down. And
It
what
can be
better time
cornered.
when
Eh?
Rodri? Yes, what better time when Rodri and De Bruyne, are
Off.
still out. So I think Wolves was beaten by the fact that they are yet to win a game. They lack that confidence. They've only drawn 1 game. They've lost 7 games. They are the 20th on the table. So I think they also it was they didn't have that momentum and energy to withstand that pressure from City. But again, you can't complain. 2 brilliant strikes and
Indeed.
old City really.
For Prob, you want to say something very quickly so we can move on. We're short for time.
No, when he said Wolves are the 20th, I had to first check my table. I didn't know that team is too solid to be that
Bottom of
all
the
the way
table.
down.
Mm.
Yeah. But Wolves are one of Man City's bogey teams. So although I didn't expect much resistance, but they actually proved they are actually a bogey team for Man City in that game. Um, I do not know what typical Pep things happened in that match. All I am happy about is that we have Man City anyway. I don't know whether it's forced, but they're slowly moving away from that tiki taka kind of football, and
Very dogged
slowly,
nowadays.
but they're slipping into that whole we must get results at all costs kind of thing.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
scary, It's, it's scary. So that time, Guardiola, no one would encourage him to shoot if Pep was in his normal element. Yeah. Doku, you see now Doku also him trying to cut in to get in a shot or two. That's
Mm.
not natural. He got the guy, create some pass for some guy inside there, doing someone. So you can see that now, slowly by slowly, Haaland is becoming useless for those that have him in FPL. Kudos. But anyway,
Yeah, the guys
but,
locked down like
but
60% of the entire budget, man.
but it's because the team is no longer looking for that pass up to him. If
Yeah.
Haaland now is getting ball, it will be a long ball from the defender. So there's been a little bit of change in strategy with Man City that I think also with time, of course, now it has also coincided with the fact that Man City is having a run of what would I say, easy. I know easy teams in the Premier League, but I can say the run of easy fixtures. So they may actually
Mm.
keep on getting away with it, but at some time they are going to
Someone will
crumble.
hack
They are going
them.
to crumble.
Okay,
Let them
let's
just
wait
pray
and
that it's
who
not a
does
small
that.
team. Let them just pray that it's not a small team because when they play the big teams, it's understandable for them to lose. Yeah, but when a small team
Indeed.
like the one we are going to, gets you. Mm? Mm?
I can see you're trying to poke, and yet you are thoroughly subdued at
we
Anfield.
have lost.
Chelsea
We
fan
have lost
making too much
two
noise.
teams. The first team and the second team in the league. No one else has hammered has hurt us. Mm?
Okay,
Mm.
we shall invite you. I mean, after Liverpool, Chelsea is facing Arsenal, so we shall wait and see. But moving on to the Arsenal, as you can hear, Rob is very excited about Arsenal dropping points in spectacular fashion yesterday. Yet another red
Why,
card
why,
for
are you,
the
why are
Arsenal,
you
the
calling them
third of the
Arsenal?
season.
Let the elephant, please. You use the correct terms here.
No, man, the tree is affected by climate change, so we are here. But anyways, negative result there for the Arsenal away at Bournemouth, the Vitality Stadium, 2-0 the final result. Arsenal receiving a red card in the 30th minute. William Saliba, I mean, last man
Have
challenge.
you watched the first
Yeah.
conspiracy theory that has been put out already? Hmm? I was
There's
watching one
always going
guy
to
was
be.
so
Hey, what are
during
they saying?
there was the head of wrestling was mania in the stands during over trying to chat with who. Eh? I was like,
That is
did you
Howard
watch that
Webb,
guy?
man. That
Howard Webb,
Howard
yeah.
Yeah,
Howard Webb
you watch
Howard Webb is
it.
Howard Webb
And
is
like these guys
you
are
remember
creative.
him
I,
from
I, I don't know how to fans do it. I don't know how to fans, but they was already there was
no
already
Howard
a red
Webb.
flag theory.
What was he
Hmm?
doing?
So he was
What was he doing in
communicating.
the
They said
stand?
he was communicating with the VAR guys to make
Hey,
sure that Saliba gets red carded.
actually,
Hmm?
give that guy red. Hey, ref and Charlie. Then they called the guy back. You see, they wanted to kill us. But anyway, that was. I mean, it was the by the letter of the law. That was a red card for Saliba. Last man challenge. Lost his marker. He panicked. Basically hang on to him and made the challenge. Unfortunately, when I think the easier thing or the better thing to do would have been to let the guy run off and then we
Let
see
it
what
go.
happens. Yeah, with the
Hmm.
recovery from Ben White, disappointing, tactics followed thereafter. I think Mikel Arteta immediately went into defensive mode even before we scored. Martinelli missing a chance there to get a goal for Arsenal before Bournemouth rallied in the second half and just came back with some great goals, a great worked free kick from set piece from Ryan Christie, putting it into the goal beyond David Raya, and then the penalty from Justin Kluivert, sealing the points for Bournemouth. Well deserved win for Bournemouth there. Blip there for Arsenal. They didn't look like they had come to compete, and unfortunately, as Mikel Arteta said in his press conference, you can't keep you won't be able to win games or win titles if you're constantly down to down to 10 men on the pitch. And Arsenal need to do something about their discipline if they're to work things out. But for me, that doesn't take the scrutiny away from the positivity of the match from Arsenal and the way they played. It was bereft of creativity. I mean, for me, Mikel Merino and Declan Rice in that midfield were not, they were not creative enough, and the red card just compounded things. So poor display defensively, poor tactically from Mikel Arteta even afterwards, and Arsenal were not at the races today. Andrew, your take on that result?
Yeah. So I always thought that Arsenal was going to struggle coming out of that international break. Why some I think they've lost some key players. If you looked at the Southampton
Saka this
game,
time,
yeah.
the
If you
latest,
looked at
yeah.
the Southampton game before going for the international break, I think they had to dig deep, towards the last minutes, which is not
Mm,
very, common with the current Arsenal side. So I mean, I think after that, international break, you're having, Saka injured. You're having players like
Odegaard
Declan
out.
Rice, that have played. They played both international games. They're playing for 90 minutes. You had Saliba starting for the French national team. For 90 minutes both games. I think, like I said, and this is what I was saying about Liverpool. That ability to try and contain yourself and contain the game, given how much battery your players, quote unquote battery, energy your players have. I mean, the red card was unfortunate. I've seen very many people trying to question how come Tosin was not sent off. It seemed like the same same tackle, but I mean, if you go deep into the analysis, you realize there's so many factors surrounding that Saliba red card. So it was always just a matter of
including Howard Webb, man.
also, I mean, some people are saying that he was on call. Then after that, they showed he was not on call.
Hey, you see,
look,
But the Chelsea
what him
has
calling,
nothing
man?
to do with the decision.
What was the yellow card? He got the guy calling the VAR room, man. You guys, man.
They were very different. The other one was that in the box. This one was in the center.
Exactly. So even the one of the former, one of the most experienced Premier League referees, Dermo Gallagher, as you've seen him on those Sky Sports News, he went ahead and said that there was a clear-cut red card. But you can't take away that Bournemouth is another stubborn team when they're playing at home. It's a very narrow stadium, a bit long. They really mastered the art of playing at their home, and that was a beautiful strike from Cyrus Christie, straight from the training ground. So many people were surprised that the set piece kings were finally penetrated with that strike, but I think those games are always going to be there. Someone else said that you should have saved the energy you used to get that drag against City to overcome such small teams. But another.
You guys will tell us
one of those games.
You will tell us the beauty with that thing. You see, it's on record. I'll come back to you guys after you play Bournemouth at Vitality.
We have reported the Liverpool matter to you, Arsenal. Please, may you handle us with fairness.
I'm telling you, you guys are enjoying yourselves. It's okay. It was for me, Arsenal. It was a blip. We'll take the loss and go and prepare for Champions League and then come back for Liverpool. Unfortunately, without Saliba. A quick update though for the Arsenal fans before you come in is despite the red card, Saliba is not going to be banned for 3 matches, as some people have put it. So, excuse me, he will be back in full to face your beloved Chelsea for that match. One match suspension. Yeah. I've seen it from the press.
Why?
The straight red, this was upgraded, but the straight red 3-match suspension is reserved for violent conduct in terms of the conduct on the pitch.
That's you guys are doing and tweaking the rules.
No. These are the rules. These are the rules. Don't be worried, why you worried?
Bad is attached to particular people. Straight red is 3 match.
Let him come for Chelsea. Let him come.
We don't want excuses on your match. That London derby want to beat you hands down properly. No excuses. You want full ball. That's why I want Saka back and Odegaard back. Please make sure your team is working on it.
We will wait and see.
But before you move, I wanted to ask something.
Yes.
Arsenal fans were complaining about Arteta's tactics on that day, and I was wondering, okay, you have lost a centre back. So how should Arteta have set up? He should have left you guys with 1 centre back. Should he have resorted to a back 3? I want to hear Arsenal fans' take on that, because I felt it's only logical that you get back your solid central defense. Okay, you have a solid central defense,
Yes, yes,
then you
yes.
trust the remaining players to handle the system. So I don't know what guys are saying against Arteta. So they wanted him to
Mm.
remain with one centre back there, and somehow they would manage, or I don't know. What's your take generally? You wanted Partey to play that
I
number?
No, I'll jump in here. I've had that coming from a few Arsenal fans, on social media and otherwise. First of all, the squad selection initially was not very forward thinking in terms of our midfield. Started with Mikel
Really?
Merino, Thomas Partey,
Apart
and
from that
Declan Rice
one,
at the hub. So you had Mikel Merino
but
basically playing Odegaard's number, which
new
was not
signing,
working out.
new
Yeah, new
signing,
signing, but
uh,
he's not offensive. He's not offensive.
quality
He's more
signing.
he's not more of
What
an
was the other thing I missed about him?
no.
And Bournemouth looked like a reasonable fixture to get him get to ease him into the system. Very logical.
No, I think it was mostly driven by, to be honest, by the international break and how things panned out and Saka's injury. Because if Saka comes in at
Yeah,
the right, if Saka comes in at the right, Trossard drops back into the
true.
10, which he has been playing the last two games. Now,
Yes,
because Saka
yes.
was injured, Sterling had to be popped out at the right. Trossard was popped up up front at the left because Martinelli picked up a knock against Brazil and was hence not ready to start. So our team was copying. Already we're without Martin Odegaard. So the team had looked quite flat and more defensive. And then we have lost Frob right there, but hopefully he'll be back. And then, basically
Right.
add to that the fact that Saliba got the red card. We did see Arteta bringing on substitute. I mean, this red card was in 30th minute, and considering you had majority of the game, majority of the game to go, it's 30 minutes. The guys got a red. Your first sub at 37 minutes, Jacob Kivio. Really, you've added another defensive player to already defensive shaped team, and that meant that we were blunt in attack. The crosses were not coming in together. The one chance that we got when we managed to get Gabriel Martinelli onto the pitch in the second half, he scuffed his lines, and his finishing really is becoming a cause of concern for Arsenal fans. That is Gabriel Martinelli, and of course Trossard is a much better finisher than him. But Gabriel Martinelli is able to give you that width on the wings. He's able to stretch teams. And for me personally, I would have liked to see Martinelli and Sterling on either side of the wing stay on, and then the tinkering done within the defense. Because we're playing Bournemouth, we're not playing Manchester City. Would have, there was no need to lock up.
Instead of Sterling, you have removed like a
Merino should have come off earlier, because even Ethan Nwaneri, when he came on, gave us a bit of a lift in midfield, but was too little too late with 9 minutes to go. So I would say that was the reason why some Arsenal fans felt even the setup was quite negative besides the red, and they're looking for that. But anyway, they are hurt, and we are hurt. We don't like losing. And that was that. We'll take the L, we'll take the loss, and come back prepared for the other games. Yeah, of course, we're not used to losing. That is the problem these days. Unlike Chelsea fans who are just coming out of it.
I like
the next game.
You have corrected yourself these days.
Yes. The next game we are coming in, which was the idea last one involving one of the big six. Spurs versus West Ham. Impressive result there at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 4-1 the final score. Goals coming in for Spurs from Kulusevski, Bissouma, an own goal by Areola that was actually a shot from Son, and then Son rounding it off there with the fourth. Kudus had actually given West Ham the lead before Spurs went riot. Kudus himself got a red card for violent conduct, and FA is likely to
now that one is pretty much proper.
Yeah. Look, the guy, adrenaline kicked in, and he was fighting. It's a bit like Liver Colwell. who's always fighting. But, we shall. They picked up some results, some mannerisms from the Chelsea guys. But great results there for Spurs. Looks like they're back to their
This is
attacking
black,
best.
and it looks like we are going to buy him.
Yeah, look, but it's actually a very solid player right there. But unfortunately, that didn't end well for West Ham right there, and Spurs getting back to winning ways under Ange Postecoglou after they had some pressure. And looking at the Premier League table, the top of the league, Andrew will be happy to know that Liverpool are firmly seated or rooted at the top of the table after 8 games played with 21 points, followed by Manchester City, who refused to
You are
be
calling that
beaten.
what pace setters, right? The pace setters, yeah. The
Pace
owners
setters
of
for
the
now.
position are coming.
But Man
They are
City are
coming.
1 point behind. They're 1 point behind on 20 points. Arsenal and Aston Villa
The
are tied
owners,
on 17
the
points.
Chelsea
Yes.
and Man Utd, we are coming. We are coming for our position.
Let us
You'll be
wait.
there setting the pace.
Third and fourth. Arsenal and Aston Villa are tied on third and fourth on 17 points. Brighton in 15th. In 15 points in 5th place. They have also been quite impressive. And our beloved Chelsea in 14 points in 6th place. Man United's victory moves them up half a place to 12th position on 11 points, but it's still early days in the season. I'm sure they will be coming back quite strongly, and we have to end it at that for now, ladies and gentlemen. Do have a fantastic rest of the week ahead, and take care. We have Champions League action coming
I
up.
wanted to talk about Spurs briefly.
Hey, you have a point. You have a point.
Because
a quick one.
they are
quick
really
one.
allegedly a top 6, big 6 team. So it's unfair for them to. But honestly, I think Spurs and let me say even their opponents on that day, West Ham, are a big puzzle for us. We don't understand what's not going on there. Of course, for West Ham, you could say the guy is really trying to change the footballing philosophy there, and he's putting his own guys who are not doing well. I think slowly he's being forced to bring back Thomas Tuchel into the starting 11. The guy wanted to throw him out. He was benching him. I didn't understand that, and West Ham was really losing it. Even this Kufwell is also he has refused, I think, to bring him back. But those were the guys whom West Ham was building on, and okay, you even got rid of James Ward-Prowse. I felt like that was not a good move. So generally, for West Ham, I don't know what's wrong, but for Spurs, it looked like the team was already set up in a certain way, but looks like now they are rethinking themselves, especially that midfield. I don't know what is their best choice for midfield. Yeah, but the team is really, we can't know what's the problem. Is it the midfield or the attack? They got a striker.
We shall see from the results. They are starting to pull the results together, because even when they were losing the tough results, they were still quite solid in attack. I think, yeah, you're right. Their midfield has to be sorted. In my view, their best midfield is when they have a double pivot of Pap Matesa and Yves Bissouma. For some reason, Postecoglou doesn't. He always mixes it up. He's always one of those two playing. He's insisting on slotting in Bentancur and
it worked last season. It's not something.
Yeah, the reason they were top of the league after the first 12 games of last season is they had that strong base.
It looks maybe they have some discipline issues, those boys. I think it has to be clear, and he's trying to punish them for something.
Potentially.
Otherwise, I don't understand.
Potentially, but they hack that, they can beat any team on their day, especially with Son back amongst the figures. We really need to be living at that. Prop, thanks for joining us, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of the week, people. Hit that subscribe button, drop your comments, participate in the conversation, and we will be back next weekend, same time, same place. Take care.